Hey everybody, I'm Alex.
I'm Sean.
And today we're doing our very first pop prediction about Game of Thrones Season 8. So, if you are new to the channel, we have been doing a recap for every season of Game of Thrones leading up to Season 8.
Yes.
For me, it's like the 5th time that I've seen the whole series.
For me, it's the 2nd.
So a lot of things are sort of popping out of the woodwork that seem like they're going to be important going into Season 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that we were going to do a pop prediction
Yes.
of some popular fan theories that are hanging around online, and then our own predictions for what's going to happen at the end of the series. So, like, this is what I've been waiting for because I love talking about theories and stuff like that, and I know you guys do too. So we definitely want to hear about what you guys have to say in the comments below, so please join the conversation. And with that said, let's begin. Obviously, this is a spoiler situation.
Yeah, so
if you
hopefully you've seen all 7 seasons before this, because a lot of the conversation we'll be going into will spoil seasons 1 through 7. But
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited to again, like I said, this is my 2nd watch through, and you get to understand the series a lot more. And yes, there's a lot of theories, and I usually don't like reading fan theories, but I can talk about them now. So Alex has jumped right into the internet and started to find a lot of fan theories for us to talk about.
Yeah.
So what's the first one?
Okay, yeah, I kind of made a little list here in my little bullet journal, my notes. So I just kind of made, let's just go like down from the beginning. So the first one that I wrote down is, who is the prince who is promised? So we sort of have this prophecy that Melisandre, the Red Woman, sort of repeats again and again and again, that there's the prince who has been promised who will draw the fiery sword and rise from the ashes, or rise from the fire and be born again, and be the savior who sort of defeats the evil, the Night King. So there's a few different theories on who this person is.
Yes.
It could be Daenerys, which is the more popular choice, at least for the characters in the show at this point, because they talk about how the translation of Valyrian, it doesn't have a gender, so it could be the prince or the princess who is promised. Of course, Daenerys loves hearing this. She's like, I like that better.
Yeah, she would.
Right, which makes sense because she is, fiery. She is fire, so it makes sense that she's born from the flames, because she literally has done this twice now, where she sort of walks out of a pyre in a way.
I'm almost thinking she might do it a 3rd time. Like, walk through some flames. That's why I think she is the princess promised. Yeah. I think so.
Okay. So that's one theory. Then, of course, we have Jon Snow being the 2nd idea, which Melisandre obviously believes that he has some role to play because he comes back from the dead. That one, yeah, maybe, but it also seems so obvious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of going with something that's not so obvious. Let me let you know about the internet's most popular version of this prophecy is Jaime is going to be the prince who is promised, which actually makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to tell you why. So there's one Redditor online, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember his username, but if you just search this, you'll find out who said this. So the translation, I wrote this down. Well, I didn't quite write it down, but the translation of like fire and sword.
Yeah.
In Valyrian, it's like the first word is like oikos or something, and then there's another word. Yeah. But it sounds very, very similar to the Valyrian words for gold and hand. Like, there's only like 2 letters apart. 2 letters. And I'm sorry I didn't write it down. I mean, we could probably look it up and you guys might know this. But I mean, that was a pretty huge clue that the word for fire and gold is only 1 letter apart, and the word for hand and sword is only one letter apart. Okay. Like, it cannot be a coincidence.
Or it could be.
Are you kidding me?
Or it could just be. You don't know. Well,
there is someone writing this. You know that,
course,
right?
But I'm just saying,
someone invented this language, and someone gave Jaime the gold hand.
I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that was the end game for that.
Well, what I was going to say is that it's very possible that George R.R. Martin and even the showrunners are playing this game with us. They are dropping clues that are supposed to make us think one thing, but they're not. But I just feel like that is such a nice little tidbit, little hint Also, the prince who was promised is supposed to kill their lover. And everyone's saying that Jaime is going to be the one to kill Cersei.
Well, we'll get to that, but I don't know if I buy Jaime as that. I don't know, but is that your prediction?
That's my prediction. Okay. I just like that because it is so. It's not the obvious two heroes. It's not the perfect Daenerys or the noble Jon Snow. Like it is this other character who has had quite an arc. Which is what I like about this.
Well, it could be Dany in the sense because she might have to kill one of her dragons. Is one of her loved ones. So I think that's where it could be Dany.
Dude, why? What circumstance do you think she would be in where she had to kill a dragon?
Well, one of her dragons is undead now.
She didn't kill it though.
No, I mean,
I
guess
guess
she might have to.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So I mean, that's how you can fulfill the prophecy for her.
Maybe
in a sense. So
that's what I love about it. There's ways because people are saying that Jon Snow might kill Daenerys as well, and because they're thinking that she might turn into the Mad Queen, which I actually really like this theory because we talked about this before. In some of our subsequent recaps of like season 6 and 7. By the way, we did a recap of every episode for season 7. So we go into a lot of depth about everything that's leading up to season 8. So definitely check that out if you're interested in some more detail. But what I like about this is that they've been reminding her since like season 1. Oh, your father was the Mad King.
Like
don't be like your father. Yeah, your father did this. Your father was evil. Oh yeah, well that's what your father said. So don't do that. So like they're really just like hitting it home that she has to check herself. You know, because she always wants to like I need justice. I need to burn them. I need to kill the masters. You know, and they're always trying to kind of rein her in. So I can kind of see where this theory of like Dany kind of going over the deep end and Jon having to end her makes sense. I can't see all the steps that lead up to that, but it does make sense that she might be in a position where she's the Mad Queen.
I mean, I think she will get to the a dark place, and she might get to a place where she has to make a decision that could haunt her. And I think Jon might bring her back from that, but I don't think she's gonna go all the way because I think that's just too. That's kind of lazy, and in my opinion, yeah. Like it's more interesting to see her toy with it and like put a toe over the line, and Jon kind of bring her back than for her to fully go over.
When you say the toe over the line, though, all it takes is one small mistake to like have huge consequences in the show.
Of course.
So it's possible that she doesn't, go all the way evil, but even if she just kind of slightly does something that her dad might have done, could have massive consequences.
Oh, of course, because I mean she's gotten used to burning people, and
yeah.
So I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I don't think she'll go full evil.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. Obviously, soon. Okay. But that's why Jon being not the Lord of Light, the Prince who's promised, makes a little bit of sense. I've also heard other fan theories that Sam is the Lord of Light, which would be a little too obvious in the other way. What? Why do I keep saying Lord of Light? Maybe they're one and the same. I don't know. Yes, the Prince who was promised. Sorry.
I don't.
So I've read that one.
I don't. But then who would he have to kill?
Gilly. I know it does. It doesn't do anything emotionally for me because I'm like it doesn't. It wouldn't have any weight to it. Yeah, I'm just saying what I've read.
Gilly if she was part of the undead army and then.
But there you go. Maybe.
But then someone would have to have killed Gilly. I was like, I don't know.
Well, people are gonna drop like flies. Well, so
I think obviously major people are going to die in season 8, but I don't know that. But let's just move on. But our official stance is Daenerys, Jaime. Okay.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys have some theories on this too.
Of course,
so
comment below.
Let us know. I'm thinking it's Jaime. It's gotta be Jaime. Oh, one more thing on this before on Jaime being the prince who was promised. You remember the episode in season 7 where Daenerys comes with her dragons when they're taking the gold from Highgarden and blasts Jaime, and he barely jumps out of the way because Bronn saves him. And the last shot of the episode is him sinking.
Yeah.
So he kind of does emerge from fire as sort of like a new, like reborn almost, because then he switches sides. Like pretty much the very next episode, he tells Cersei that he has to fight for the side of the living, and like so that's a huge transitional point for him, and that's the way they end the episode. He's sinking in his Lannister armor. It's very symbolic, I think. So that's just one more reason.
It does arc back to like when Tyrion was sinking with the stonemen, and kind of also how Bran was falling at the end of episode 1. So there's a lot of similarities to it, but I still...
Yes.
I'm still not 100% sold that he's the Prince's Promise, but it's possible. Like, if it were to happen, I'd be like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was a really nice parallel there.
No,
especially,
of course.
And then the golden hand thing. And I'm kicking myself for not writing down what those words are. I'll tell you later.
It's fine.
We'll move on. Okay, so the second thing that I've been talking about for so many seasons now is there one more secret Targaryen out there that's not Jon, which has been confirmed now that he is Rhaegar and Lyanna's daughter. Yeah. There may or may not be one more because there's 3 dragons. Of course, a lot of people may say, oh, well, the Night King's riding one of the dragons, so there's only going to be one more Targaryen, and that's Jon. But I just want to talk about this theory just a little bit because I've been sort of like pushing for this for so long because I just think it would make so much sense. So the biggest fan theory is that Tyrion is a Targaryen. Targaryen Lannister. Yes. Sean, you may say.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm agreeing with that one. I'm agreeing with this one.
So you're coming around on that one because we talked about it before and you were like, no, absolutely not.
I mean, the only reason why I'm saying it now, watching it the second time through and then starting to talk about like when he was born,
there's a lot of emphasis on that.
And the way Tywin kind of talks about it, it makes me feel more that like Tywin made a deal at some point with the Targaryens, and one of the deals was like him raising their son, or like
could be, or he had to hide it.
Yeah, I'm not like Tywin seemed like the type that would do something like that because like he always said like he hated Tyrion.
You're no son of mine.
But
he never actually. He only says a couple times that he's a dwarf. All the other times it's sort of like, you're no son of mine, I wanted to murder you, you're no son of mine, and like it doesn't really seem like he's talking about him being a dwarf. Yeah,
but it's just almost like he's a son out of duty more than anything else.
Yeah, that is kind of what it feels like.
I'm kind of on board with that theory that...
I love it.
And plus, because he always just seemed different, even when we first meet him than Jaime and Cersei. Anyway, like, his goals were different, and maybe that's also because of the way he was raised, but I just feel that I think that one fits.
I love it, because also, okay, so in the books, he has one purple eye. And Targaryens have purple eyes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So there's more. I think I got that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in the book, he has 2 different colored eyes.
Okay.
And one of the eye colors is like a Targaryen eye color. And so that seems like it would be obvious to me in terms of like the books. They didn't do that in the show. But it does feel like that's what they're setting up. So Tyrion would be the son of the Mad King and Joanna Lannister. They talk about, I think they mention it very briefly in the actual show, that the Mad King was obsessed with Joanna Lannister, which is Tywin's wife. So it kind of makes sense that maybe he raped her and they had Tyrion and it was like a hush-hush, like we can't let anybody know that he's not. So like, you know, there's a lot of questions and reasons why this could be. Also, think about the scene where Tyrion finds his way into the dungeons where Daenerys is keeping 2 of her dragons and is able to approach them, let them go, pet them. Yeah. You know, like that is not something that just your normal person with no dragon blood would be able to do.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he had a lot of wine before he went down there, but...
No, I'm saying the dragons wouldn't let him.
No, I know, I'm just saying, but he was brave enough in the sense just to do it anyway.
Well, sure.
But also the dragons kind of just like let him.
I'm saying the dragons would have, if they sensed that he was, you know, an enemy, they would have ended him. So he's not an enemy, so there's that. But also, now that we know, think about the trailer for season 8. So now that we know that Jon is half Targaryen, and we see him going up to, and even in season 7, he touches Drogon, and Daenerys is like, the fuck? So we know...
Trying to intimidate him.
We know that the dragons, you know, let Targaryens pet them.
Well, they also said, whoever their friends are.
Yes.
Like, that's
like I said, True.
Melisandre tells
True,
them,
but now that we know that Jon's a Targaryen, Daenerys is a Targaryen, and they're able to pet the dragons, we've never seen anybody else touch those dragons. And then Tyrion's able to touch one of the dragons. It just sort of, these clues just sort of add up. And it would definitely complicate things in a way that would be really interesting for season 8. I just don't know if they'll have the time to explore that fully. So I really want it to happen. I just don't know if they'll do it, you know?
Well, I mean, we do have 6 episodes, and they're all going to be...
Not long
The
enough.
last 2 are going to be really like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But considering we don't have a lot of characters, and I don't think we're going to be going a lot of different places this time around.
We'll probably just explore what we may or may not know about characters that already exist.
Yeah, so... And I don't think we're going to get like, besides the Golden Company, I don't think we're going to get anything new.
Yeah.
So I think there is time to delve deep into like how like the Whites burning down the wall, which we'll get to, like all this stuff. I think there is time to get into things like that.
Well, and of course, Bran is the key to us knowing this information. Yeah. So it wouldn't become clear to us via Bran unless it was important for this like the ultimate goal of defeating the Night King. So we'll see. I want to move on to the other...
Well, what was your official answer? So, like, I think it's...
I think he is a Targaryen. I've been saying this for so long. I just think it's, like, such a perfect way to, like, wrap up his story. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't include it.
No, I think they have to.
The other theory is that Sam is half Targaryen.
No, that I don't
So, the theory goes that Sam is the son of Rhaegar and Elia. So Elia and Rhaegar were married, but he wasn't really in love with her. That's when he gave the roses to Lyanna. But the theory is that Sam is their love child. There's not a lot of evidence for this, but I have read it online in a few places.
Sam's dad would not have taken in a bastard, and no.
Well, the only other thing is that he would have taken them in because he had such close ties to... the crown, that he would do them a favor, and then that's why he hates him so much. Because
he hates him because he's fat.
Maybe he's fat because he hates him so much. You ever think about that, Dad? Maybe your actions made him overeat.
Yeah,
he's
maybe,
an emotional eater.
I don't
emotional eater.
I think if Sam turned out the way he did and he wasn't his real son, he would disown him.
Yeah.
So I don't buy that. That was weak sauce.
It's weak sauce. I agree with you, but I just wanted to mention it.
No, it's fine. It's fine to point it out there. Like if you guys think that's true, put your comments below. But I think you're wrong. But
okay.
But go on.
So we have the Targaryen. We talked about Targaryens. While we're on that front, there's a fun theory that Jon will ride the Ice Dragon because he is ice, and the Night King's dragon that he currently has risen, Viserion, is also an ice dragon, and so it kind of makes sense that maybe somehow Jon would be able to ride the ice dragon since he's also Targaryen, and then Tyrion and Daenerys would ride the other two. So that's a theory that's out there as well. Maybe
I can see the Jon and the Night King riding both the Ice Dragon under
together, holding hands.
Well, not together. I think there'll be separate situations where they both get to ride it.
I just realized Ghidorah's like 3 dragons in one. This is my new Godzilla shirt. Very excited about it.
But I think yes, Jon will ride it. Yes.
Okay. I'm just I don't know what my official stance is on this one. Because I feel like there's other factors as well, which we'll get into, but one of the other things is that Bran is able to warg into this ice dragon, because it's a little less... Well, as we've seen, the Whites are just kind of followers.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, like, completely intelligent beings. They're sort of under the spell of the Night King. So, similar to the way that Bran was able to warg into Hodor, because he was a little, like, simpler... people are saying that Bran's going to be able... I know, and it's his fault. Way to go, Bran. But people are saying that he might be able to actually warg into the Ice Dragon, because we've seen him do it with the wolf. We've seen him do it with Hodor. So, like, wouldn't that be cool if Bran warged into Viserion and Jon was riding him? It would be like,
that's a possibility. That's a possibility.
It does seem like a lot, but, and we'll talk about this at the end, but there definitely has to be a few moments in season 8 where we're like, there has to be. And like, so that's why I think that some of these ones that sound so ridiculous may actually happen, because I just feel like they're just gonna throw so much crazy stuff at us.
Especially the last 2 episodes, I think. Gonna be...
So that's why, even if it sounds stupid, who knows? You know,
it's hard
at this point,
it's hard to tell. Like, some of the actors don't even know because they were shooting a lot of fake stuff just so they weren't 100% sure what was happening. I think the character only knows what happens to that character because a lot of other stuff they shoot are fake.
Oh my gosh.
So it's hard to say what's going to be what.
I hope they really didn't do too much of that, because what a waste of money.
Well, it's not a waste of money if it prevents, like, the real thing from coming out. So, I mean, hey, Game of Thrones is a moneymaker anyway, so if they had to spend an extra $1 million or
and
$2
there are children starving in Africa.
Well, yeah.
And here, in Los Angeles. But, I'm not, though. We just had barbecue.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm good.
But, yeah, so, yeah.
So the Jon riding the ice dragon, Bran warging into the ice dragon, those are kind of similar, I feel like, in a similar way. Okay, so this one actually makes a little bit of sense to me. So what I want to talk about is Tyrion is going to betray Daenerys. And here's the evidence for this. So we see when they bring the white down to show Cersei to prove to her that this is a real threat, Tyrion volunteers. He's like, I have to go talk to her.
Yeah.
So he goes up, talks to her. Very tense scene, like incredibly tense scene there, and finds out that she's pregnant. So, and his reaction to this is interesting. It almost feels like he's not happy, but like doesn't hate it completely.
Yeah, because I mean, he knows the kind of relationship she has with her kids. So.
Exactly, and sort of understands what it means for Jaime too, because Tyrion really loves Jaime, so this would be his son as well. So the theory is that, because we don't see what terms they ultimately come to in the end.
I believe we will.
But in that episode we cut away and then we just see them walking out and Cersei's like, I will fight for you. Of course it was a lie. But we don't really know what she and Tyrion talked about. So the theory goes that because Tyrion is very concerned who will be the heir after Daenerys is gone, or if she gets killed, because she cannot have children, the theory is that Tyrion made a pact with Cersei that her unborn child will rule after Daenerys, or in the case of her death. So this almost makes a little bit of sense, because we see that Tyrion was concerned. There's that scene in there, which I feel they wouldn't put in there unless it was going to be relevant in season 8, where Tyrion is asking her, oh, you can't have children. Who's your heir going to be? You have to name an heir. It only takes one arrow for you to die. You can die so easily, and then what? And then all we've built will crumble if you don't name an heir. So Tyrion is very, very much pushing for this whole idea of, in case you die, you need someone who's going to rule after you. So the theory is that he and Cersei worked something out that if she does fall, then, you know.
I mean, I do like the idea of her thinking that Tyrion betrayed her, but if only because they had the conversation. Because the same thing she told Varys in episode 2 of season 7, that, like, you know, don't try to talk behind my back, tell something to my face. So is the sense that if Tyrion is having some kind of conversation or deal with Cersei, regardless if that's to do with the child or not, I think that would be enough.
The stakes are high.
And I think the same thing might happen with Varys in the same sense too.
Could be, but obviously, so Jorah betrayed her. So she definitely has this feeling of, like, I've been betrayed before. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the person that she trusts most ends up doing it in this backwards way, where he thought maybe he was doing the best for everyone. So that's an interesting one. And then there was one more point that I wanted to make on that one, but I cannot remember what it is. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about, you guys. But I want to know what you guys think about this one, because this one I actually think could be viable. Some of the other ones are like, but this one would actually have big consequences for everything else that's going to happen in season 8. So if this were to be true, it would unravel a lot of things pretty quickly.
Well, do you think Varys is going to burn? Because she made a point in that episode also to say, like, if you betray me, I'll have my dragons.
I mean, it's possible if he does betray her, it will be because of Tyrion. They will be done working together. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think so because I feel like Varys has some other role to play that is important because he spoke to Melisandre before she left about them having to die in this country. So I feel like Varys maybe has a more interesting way to go than just being, you know, murdered.
Well, I think he might do whatever he's supposed to do and then get murdered.
Yeah, it could be.
I think,
and that could be Daenerys then being like turning into the Mad Queen, or that one overstep where she murders everyone who's like closest to her because they betray her. And then, I don't know.
Because I mean, the point where
it's like dominoes, you know. Like if one thing happens, so many other things have to happen.
She just made it so much of a point to say like, if you betray me, I'll burn you. And he's like, I wouldn't expect anything else. So I just think like that is setting up for something. Whether he betrays her,
or it could be Tyrion, like we were talking about.
Yeah, well, I think Tyrion might start, and then he might help her, and then she might find out and be like, I'll spare Tyrion. I'm not going to spare you. Like, you know, I'll forgive Tyrion, I won't forgive you.
I feel like it was a foreshadow for what she would do to Tyrion if he betrays her again. Or if Jon betrays her in some way, or whatever else it is. Because I don't think Varys is important enough for that scene to be just about Varys.
No. It won't be just about him, but I think he'll pay the consequence.
Maybe.
And more so than anybody else.
Maybe. I don't care. I mean, he's already had part of him burned in the fire.
Ooh.
As we know. I can't remember what my other point was, though, about Cersei having a kid. Well, I mean, okay, so this is another interesting thing that we should talk about, too, as long as we're on this, is the prophecy that Maggie the Frog gave to Cersei about her 3 children. You will have 3 children. Gold their crowns, gold their shrouds, or whatever it is. Yeah. So she's had 3 already. So, and that's come true. So either the prophecy is a sham, or her 4th child's definitely not even going to make it out of the womb. That's what I think. Yeah. So that's going to have some... or if she's even pregnant at all. It could just be a ploy. That's
if she is pregnant, I think she will lose the baby, and I think that will even drive her even more insane. Like, that will cause her to do something, like, to put burning the sept to shame. Like, I think she's going to do something dramatic.
Let's talk about this then, because I read an awesome theory online that Cersei is going to voluntarily ask to be one of the White Walkers. And I think...
Do I believe that?
I don't know. That would be one of those, like, moments. It would be like, what? Here's how that might be possible.
I'm listening.
Cersei thinks that she can sort of... like, she's just very political. She thinks she can sort of, like, argue her way out of everything, or, like, make pacts. And so... if she loses her 4th child, that might send her far enough into... or if Jaime dies, maybe. That might send her far enough into this, like, complete loss of what's important, so that she's like, well, I'm just going to join the army of the dead, because then I'll be all-powerful. I won't have to worry about losing anyone else that I love. They're all gone. I don't even have to be alive myself. Like, what does it even matter if I'm alive myself? Everyone else is dead. So... take me, let me. So I just think that would be crazy.
Like the dragon glass
going in. Yeah, maybe. Like that would like raise the stakes like unreal. Because then she can't die outside of a Valyrian steel or does dragon glass kill a White Walk? Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, stuff like that, like. The more you talk about it, the more it kind of pushes me on the side that it's possible. It's possible only if she literally has nothing
to lose
else. Like,
or if it seems like everything is already lost.
Yeah, because when...
you know, her crown, like, everything.
Because we've seen her, like, when she's pushed into a corner, she'll decide to go out on her own terms. Like, she was really waiting to kill her son and herself... because she saw there's no other way out.
That's a great point.
So she went to die on her own terms. So I think if her baby dies, if she sees that not only Jaime is on the other side, maybe if he hooks up with somebody else, who we'll get to later on, and maybe she's been stripped of the crown, or so, like she literally has to have literally nothing else.
Yeah.
And I can see that happening. So I'm going to say it's very possible that could happen.
This is a good segue into what I want to talk about next, but another reason why that could be possible is we know she dabbles a little bit into uncharted territory in terms of Maester Qyburn and his work that he did with the Mountain. Yeah. You know, so like there's kind of this weird Frankenstein thing that she is a part of and condones. Obviously all the stuff with the wildfire, like she just kind of has a really strange way of doing things, and it wouldn't surprise me if that was one of the things that she thought was a good idea.
I mean, well, I mean, hey, anything sounds like a good idea if you literally, I mean, because, not to go a little bit too dark, but, like, when you think about suicide, you think about, like, when you don't see anything else, like, right, when everything else is gone and you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, I could see her getting to the point where she doesn't see anything else, and she just will and then the Night King might approach her, and then she might think, well, there's nothing else. All my enemies, like, this is a way for me to get back at all my enemies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, this
yeah, exactly. The more I talk about it, the more I think it's possible too. So I can see a scenario where that could possibly happen.
That'd be crazy.
Matter of fact, I think it will.
Okay,
now that we talk about it now.
Okay, so this is another huge one that is one of those. Oh my god moments.
Like that could be one of the third surprise that George was talking about, like where you just look at it like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
Right, so George R. Let's just talk about that really quick before I move on to other stuff relating to the White Walkers. George R. R. Martin stated that there are 3 oh shit moments in the series. Number 1 being Stannis killing Shireen.
And that was like, oh my god.
It was. Interesting choice, but yeah, very important and crazy and like, whoa.
Well, especially the way they shot it too, where she's screaming and he's just standing there and not doing anything. So it was oh shit.
Wait, what was number 2 now?
Hodor.
Oh, Hodor. Hodor's backstory and how Bran, basically made him, and it's like this time loop thing.
Yeah.
That was the oh shit moment number 2, which that one I felt. I was like, oh,
yeah.
What? And then there's the 3rd one, which happens at the end of season 8, and we don't know what that is yet. So that's sort of like a little bit of what we're talking about here, just like that kind of crazy, unbelievable, and it could even be something that we haven't even thought of yet.
No, but like imagine,
but it's coming.
But like imagine the dragonglass going into Cersei, and then you close up of her eyes turning white,
and the episode,
and her face turning white,
series.
Like or eyes turning blue. I'm sorry, and her skin turning white. Like something like that is a way. Where like you end an episode like that, like imagine ending episode 6, 5 because it's gonna be 6. Yeah. So like something like that where like and then you, I don't know.
I'm gonna be disappointed now if they don't do that. But I wanted to.
Sure, whatever they do is.
I wanted to move on to something related, which is just talking about the dead in general.
Yeah.
So we know that if you burn a body, it will not come back as a White Walker. We also know that or a white, I guess. So we also know that the White Walkers are moving their ways south. And they're raising all of the dead in their path. So one theory is that any dead character that we've seen so far in the series who has not had their body burned will come back.
Yeah.
And fight for the army of the dead. And this is really interesting because in the official trailer, we see Arya running through the crypts of suspectedly Winterfell.
It looks,
and she looks mortified. And some people are saying that this is all of the dead Starks who are in her family who have been risen by the Night King, come back to like basically torment them. And but can you imagine how insane that would be? So we would see Stannis again. We would see
Ned again.
Like Renly, depending on how far south. We would see Ned probably. I don't know exactly what the rules are if you're beheaded, but
I think it really is Ned. I think is the point because in season 7, episode 2, they reminded us again that Ned's bones are down there.
Oh my god, you're right.
Because Littlefinger's like, remember, I brought him back myself.
Oh,
so the fact that I think...
Oh my god, you're right!
I think it's possible that is a thing. So... Because I think maybe they could put his head back on. because he's dead.
I thought I read something. I think it might have been the showrunners who were saying you're going to see some characters that you haven't seen in a while.
I think Ned would be that would be and especially to get Sean Bean to do it. It'd be so great.
Or if Catelyn. I mean, well, Catelyn actually does come back from the dead
in the books.
Yeah. Via I think. Thoros of Myr. It's like the brother. I think so. It's like
I
the
don't.
Lord of Light. Anyway,
I don't know if like I just think Ned is the biggest one. I don't like it could happen to anybody else, but I think especially with this, because look at even the teaser trailer from season 8 where they're in the crypts and then we pass by Lyanna, we pass by Ned. So I think those two will definitely come back. I don't think anybody else needs to, but I think those two will.
So there's also in season 7 when Arya comes back to Winterfell and she goes down to the crypts and Sansa meets her there. They're looking at Ned's statue and she's like, doesn't look like him. And they kind of really like look at it for a while and you see it and it doesn't look like him. So wouldn't it be interesting if he comes back and it definitely doesn't look like him because he's dead? And I don't even think his head even sent back with his body? Or was it still on a spike somewhere? I don't know.
Well, it definitely was on a spike, but I would assume if they had the rest of the body, they would have took the head too. I mean, that would just make sense.
But this one makes sense to me. This is a way to heighten the show in a way that it would have just be unprecedented in the series so far, because all these characters that we thought are gone and now they're back and now they want to kill the people that we've grown up. That would just be so crazy.
I think that's a way to set up, like, because we know there's going to be an episode where it's just a battle. And imagine that happens before that episode happens, like where all these people come back before that episode, and then we just get an episode long of them like trying to escape and have a battle.
Well, because can you imagine? That would be amazing. Can you imagine? Let's just say you are Arya and you're ready to kill the dead, but you get faced with your father suddenly, and you sort of panic. It was sort of like maybe a little foreshadow in the Hard Home episode, where we see the woman who has her little girls, and her downfall is seeing the children. She doesn't want to fight the children because she has her own children, and the children kill her. Yeah. So that could be the demise of a lot of our favorite characters if they see their loved ones. I don't know. But I think
Ned and Lyanna that's definitely gonna happen.
That would be insane.
Again, besides that, who cares? I don't care. But those two, I think, because in King's Landing, I don't know if we're going to get a lot of those people, because I don't know if A, they'll get down that far south, but B, a lot of bodies are burnt already.
A lot of them are.
So there's no drama in that sense.
Right. Well, we'll see.
But we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, fun to think about. Okay, let's move on to another more fun one to talk about, ClevaneBowl. A lot of people are wondering if we're going to finally see the Hound and the Mountain duke it out and what's going to happen there. I feel like the Hound should get his justice. I want to see that. We all want to see that. But as we know, we don't always get what we want in this show. But I wonder if it may not happen at all. And there's some... Because now the Hound can see things in the flames. Yeah. Which is interesting. Not a lot of people can do that.
Well, he was brought back for a reason, basically.
Exactly, and we don't know what that reason is yet.
I mean, I think it might be to take his brother off the board, but I think they might end up taking each other out. It might be a sense where they fight and they kill each other.
I feel like that might happen more than once with different characters.
But I think that's how that... I think that, yes, they are going to fight. We might actually see the Mountain break his vow of silence because of it. And then they might take each other out.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is vowed to silence until all of Cersei's enemies are dead. No. So, who knows? She has a lot of enemies.
She does. Not as many as she used to.
And the Mountain...
But she still has enemies, yes.
Yeah, so that one's fun. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to see this, if you don't care, if it's going to happen, if the Lord of Light is suddenly... I think it would be really cool to see the Hound being able to wield a fire sword, like Beric Dondarrion. Because the irony there, because he's afraid of fire, but maybe he won't be so afraid of fire anymore, and I don't know, the irony there would, I think, just be really, really fun.
Well, if he saw in the flames that's the only way he can kill his brother, then he might have to do it.
Then he might do it. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Okay, speaking of the Lord of Light, let's talk about Melisandre. and maybe what her role is going to be going forward. So last we saw, she bolted from Dragonstone because Jon was there, and Sir Davos, and she's like, yeah, I kind of killed a little girl, and they weren't too happy about that.
No,
so
Davos made it clear what will happen if they cross paths again.
So she pieced out, and Varys, who obviously hates these priestesses because he got his man parts burned by one of them. Yeah. Was sort of like teasing her and.
You got revenge on the guy who did it, though.
He certainly did, but still does not like their religion at all. So they're talking, and he says, "I would recommend that you don't return," and she says, "Oh, I have to return. I have to die in this strange country, and so do you." And Varys is like, yeah. So we know we're going to see Melisandre again.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that she's going to bring an army, a Lord of the Light army. Apparently in the books there is like some sort of army around Volantis that fights for the Lord of Light. I don't know anything about this, so this is not one that I know about, but it makes sense that she would come back with something to offer.
Yeah.
An army or a new
information
trick.
Or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be really interesting. I feel like, obviously, this Lord of Light character is important. A lot of people are saying the Lord of Light is the Night King. The King of Death. That all of the gods are the same, and that god is the Night King, because he just brings death.
Okay.
So, I don't know how they would tie that together. I don't know how that would wrap up really nicely, but I can see why people would say that, because it makes a little bit of sense.
But I do say when she does return, I think, however she goes out, I think the world will see her as she truly is. I think that jewel's going to come off her neck.
Old, saggy-tit lady.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to see her as she truly is, because I think that's just part of her comeuppance, is that, everybody sees her as this beautiful young woman with almost all the answers and wisdom, and we're going to see her as this old, decrepit woman, like, dust away or something.
Like Thanos comes in.
Yeah, and then she just kind of... I think she's going to dust away.
Well, so we've seen in the series so far that the Lord of Light has really surprised us. Like, there are no rules for the Lord of Light, really. And they all know that. They're like, I don't know why he wants to be alive. He kind of does what he wants. And the Hound is like, well, how come you get to live and this little girl doesn't? They're like, meh. We've seen that his power can make old ladies look really young and sexy. We've seen that you can give birth to a shadow man. There's just like a lot of
people back from the dead.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of rules with the Lord of Light. It's kind of whatever goes. So I'm really looking forward to see how he or she plays into season 8 and what he or she can do. Maybe as a woman. I don't know why we even saying he. I don't know. So, do you have anything else to say about Melisandre?
No, not about her, but want to bring up an interesting question about Lady Sand. Is she still alive?
Ilaria, no. I don't think so. But she might come back alive when the Night King comes out.
Well, yeah, but imagine if she's alive and then her daughter comes back as part of the army of the dead.
Well, right. So I think she's still alive because Cersei wants her to feel that pain of watching her daughter rot.
Yeah.
Hard to watch.
I think we're gonna see her again alive. Like they're gonna rescue her.
Now that you say it, maybe, because I thought that was the last time we were gonna see her. But now that we've been talking about like the Night King and the White Walkers and all this stuff and raising people from the dead, you're right. Like she might, have one more comeuppance.
Well, yeah, because imagine her seeing her daughter die and then seeing her daughter raised from the dead and then them having to kill her daughter again. Like that's just a lot of.
Oh my god.
She doesn't deserve it, but
so rough. I hope they do all this crazy stuff because I'm living for it right now. Okay, yeah, that's a good point too. Let us know what you think about that one, because that one's not something that I read online or that I've even thought about.
No, but I've been thinking about that ever since, like the way we left them. Yeah. It's like I don't think that's the way we're gonna not see them ever again. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a way for that to happen. Okay.
Here's another fun one. Arya wears Littlefinger's face.
I think not only is that going to happen, I think that's how we open the season.
Well, kind of like season 7 with Walder Frey.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen. Because watching season 7, you think like, whoa, why are we seeing Walder Frey? He's dead. And then it plays out so much like, oh, that's Walder Frey, that's Walder Frey. And then there's a turn when you know that's not him. And I think for whatever reason, I think Arya is going to portray like Littlefinger, and then he's going to do something. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure
the only thing,
to what end.
The only thing she could use him for is to get close to Cersei. There's literally no other purpose to go with Littlefinger's face anywhere. Anywhere else. In anywhere. Like, that's the only time that would ever matter is... Because everyone knows, like, the Vale knows that he's dead. Like, all the northern houses know that he's dead. No one in the East cares or even knows who he is. Getting to Cersei would be the only reason that Arya would wear his face. Maybe. Whether or not it works, that's a question.
Well, I mean, I think it would only work. It only happen because it has to work. Like, there is going to be a point where it's working, and then you get to the point where, oh, we know that's not him. But I mean, because they played that trick once already. Would they play it again? I don't know, but it just...
Well, I don't think it would be a trick... Like, we would know right away. She would be like, bloop! Alright, here we go! Going south! Because I don't think she has gotten a lot of humanity back. Obviously, she made the choice to go to Winterfell instead of go to King's Landing. Which is a really interesting scene in season 7 because she meets her old friend Hot Pie.
I love that scene.
And she's just like staring, just like shoving. She's like an animal. Yeah. Like she's completely lost her humanity.
Scene.
But when she hears that her family's back at Winterfell, like something comes back and she goes. So I think it would be, but I don't think she's forgotten about her list.
Oh no, of course not.
So now she's just a little smarter and a little more. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
I mean,
because I felt sorry. I'm gonna let you talk at some point. I felt that Peter's death. I felt really underwhelmed with it.
Not me.
I was like, there had to be something more that he was gonna do, and Arya wearing his face would fulfill that for me. It would be like, okay, that's why he died in this way. Well, that was the reason why all these little webs came together.
Well, I like the way he died, only because he thought something like he thought his plan was working perfectly. To come to find out, they were playing him.
I still think he was I felt the same way when Ramsay died. He's such a good villain. Like, just so much drama surrounding this character that I was just sad from, like, a story perspective to see him go. Well, because I really liked the manipulation, I really liked the trickery, and I liked...
but, like, how much longer would he stay? He's been around since the beginning, and he's becoming more treacherous and vindictive and playing these games more and more as it's gone along, and to the point where he was putting them against each other. Where else could they have taken him?
Well, I don't know, but I still felt the same way that I do, and I think if Arya were to wear his face, I would feel like, okay, this is wrapping up nicely enough for me now. Like, at least his death meant something. Because
I like that they did with Walter, because that's a perfect way for her to get her revenge not only on him, but on the rest of the Freys. I'm wondering if...
But we do hate Walder Frey.
Yeah.
We kind of like Peter Baelish.
No.
You are very weird about this. There's a lot of characters that you don't like. There's a lot of people out there who do like these characters.
Well, I mean, I can understand you like him the way he plays the game, considering like, and he always reminds us that he started with nothing and he's a good villain.
And he's an interesting character.
Yeah, because like
you never kind of really do know, like, we know what he wants. Does he actually have a little bit of humanity in him?
No.
At least for Sansa? Like,
no.
You know what I mean?
She was a means to an end for him.
I don't think so.
And I think, like...
I think he really did love her.
If he was a smarter person...
Not that he knows what love is, but...
If he was a smarter person, he wouldn't have trained her. Because that's the reason he died. Like, if he would have just kept his ambitions to himself and not brag to her, but like, this is what I want. This is how the world works...
no, because he
thought... would have won. I mean, he would have at least got what he wanted to that point.
But he thought he was going to be able to end up with Sansa.
Yeah.
You know, like, he thought they were going to end up together. That's why he trained her the way that he did.
Should have been that silly little girl and just wrap her around your finger and keep it moving. But you didn't. You got cocky, you got sloppy, and then you got killed.
Which was sad. I did not want to see that.
I want to see it. I'm happy. But I think, yes, she will wear his face because it'd be nice to have that actor back again. Otherwise, like, because they don't like doing flashbacks.
I need to borrow one of your birds.
Yes. So I think...
suppose.
Well, I mean, so I just can't think of a reason why she would dress up as him, but I think it's going to happen.
To kill Cersei.
But I don't think she's going to kill Cersei. I don't think so.
She's going to try. She's going to frickin' try. She's on the list.
I know she's on the list, but
she's like zoned in.
I think
to
Arya
will
killing.
Who else is on the list now?
That's left.
Yeah.
The
Hound.
I mean,
no, the Hound is
the
removed
Mountain.
from the list. Yeah, Cersei, the Mountain.
I don't think there's anybody else.
Well, it's very possible that she wears Peter's face not to like kill her, but to like
set a trap for her.
Yeah, exactly. Like she could play it smarter than that, not just like a mercenary thing, you know.
Well, I mean, because Arya could have killed a lot of people. Like in that episode where she kills Walter, she could have easily had killed Jaime. She was kind of flirting and making herself look like she was available, and if Jaime was interested, something could have happened there. So I think she could wear Peter's face in a sense to set something up. Well, I don't think necessarily to kill Cersei though.
Well, but Jaime wasn't on her list.
No, but.
I think she's learned her lesson. I don't think she's going to kill someone now that the God of Death does not require. I don't exactly know how it works, clearly.
Well.
Neither did Arya, though, for a long time. But anyway, so that would be fun. Because, yeah, I do like that actor, and I think it would be nice to see him again. Yeah. And, like, how he can still be used, even though he's dead. Okay, we got to get to the biggest one. Actually, now that we're talking about Jaime a little bit, and about how he's not on the list, let's talk about our shipping of Jaime and Brienne.
Yes.
First of all, I do want to know what happens to Brienne. I have a feeling that she's gonna die for honor, because that's just her arc.
I don't think she's gonna die.
I think she's gonna die. I think everyone's gonna die, actually. But we'll get there at the end. Anyway, I've been shipping them for so long because it's such an unusual pair, and I think, pretty boy, fancy Jaime, and then, badass
Brienne the beauty.
Brienne the beauty. I just think it would be like a nice. It would be nice. I don't know.
I mean,
I think they obviously share like a friendship that's very special because of what they went through. But I don't necessarily think that Jaime has feelings for her, but it still would be fun.
He definitely does.
Romantic feelings.
I think he does. I think he does. I mean,
I know that look in men's eyes. Do you know that look in men's eyes?
No,
I do.
I mean, I haven't, but
it's not there.
No, but I think he does in the sense that, like, remember when he gave her his sword and all that?
I've given things to friends.
No, I'm just saying, but like, then he raped Cersei because it's like, I love this woman, and I can't be with her for obvious. There's obvious reasons why he can't.
I don't.
But then he loves this woman who he can't be with, but he is. I don't
think you just rape someone because you can't be with someone else.
No, because he's mad at himself. He's mad at himself. The fact that he won't let himself go there with Brienne, but he loves this woman that he shouldn't be with, and then she's not a good woman. But I think they will have a moment before.
I think it's like
the world's like. Keep them apart again.
I don't think it's going to be a moment of, romantic
love
at all.
They're going to share a kiss.
They're definitely not. Oh my god, what?
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, they
You're
are.
wrong. You owe me $50.
Well, how do you know I'm wrong? We haven't seen it happen yet.
Because I just know.
It's my prediction. They're going to share a kiss, and then some duty is going to separate them, and then maybe she will die, and then... Well, because think of it this way. Actually, I changed my mind. She is gonna die. I just flip-flop. She is gonna die. You know why? Because Jaime never gets what he really wants. Think of it. Like when he finally was able to talk to his
Brienne because he's the prince who's...
Remember when he finally got to hear the words from his daughter, like, yeah, you're my dad and I don't care. And he got to embrace his daughter for the first time, and then she died right after that. Imagine like him professing his love to Brienne, and her saying "I love you too," them sharing a kiss, and then something happens to her.
No.
Yes, I think it's gonna happen. They're gonna kiss, and then she's gonna die.
I want $50 if you're wrong.
Well, I think I'm right.
You know what?
I'm right.
We should do bets, guys. Hey,
I think I'm right.
We should have turned this into like a giveaway or some kind of contest. Like whoever gets the most right.
Well, we still have time for that. But
well, we should make a list of like who will be alive at the end of the season.
Yeah, but I think that's going to happen. Yes.
I just don't think so because I think he's just so in love with Cersei that he'll never let go of that.
I think he's slowly letting go of it.
I think
he
Brienne
left her side.
I don't think
he left her side already.
But not for Brienne.
No. I mean, he left his side out of duty and then out of respect. But I think there will come to a point, and we can talk about this right now.
Yeah. Is
Jaime going to kill Cersei?
That's part of the reason why people are saying that he's the prince who's promised.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mention this part of the prophecy either earlier when we were talking. So this is in the books. This is not in the show. When Maggie the Frog gives the prophecy... or no, it's not Maggie the Frog. It's the Lord of Light prophecy that's given that Melisandre is saying with the prince who was promised. The Valonqar, which stands for little brother, is the person who will be the prince who was promised. Or no. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm totally getting mixed up. Let me start over.
Okay.
It was Maggie the Frog who says that she's going to be killed by her little brother. Her little brother will rise up and choke her out, basically. Look this up. It's in the books.
Well, I'm glad they took it out of the show.
Well, either way, so Cersei's born before Jaime. So he is her little brother. Yeah. I don't know. So there's a lot of like different prophecies that sort of I feel like still point to Jaime in this way. And so I do think that he's going to kill her because I think that's what the prophecy means.
Yeah.
Long-winded way of saying that. There's prophecies out there.
I actually think he's going to kill her twice. Because I think she is going to...
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, in the sense, I think she's going to see, and this kind of plays into everything I've been saying before, I think she's going to see Jaime and Brienne together, which I think that will push her over the edge, and that's like, she's going to say something to the effect, like, you doing this is kind of stab me in the heart type, and I think that's going to make her join the Night King, and I think Jaime then is going to take Brienne sword after she falls and kill Cersei, because her sword is Valyrian steel. So I think, yes, he is going to do it, but he's actually going to do it in a sense twice.
I don't think it has anything to do with Brienne at all.
I think it is.
You are not correct.
But what if I am, though?
You're not, though.
What if I am? I like my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I like my prediction.
I was the one who called that the new Avengers movie is called Endgame. Okay? Yeah, so clearly I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's we'll talk about that at a different time. But I think that's how that's going to...
The next PopPrediction that we do. Yeah, I think you will. I think he'll kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to be that way. But that would make him the prince who's promised, probably. Anyway, there's one other thing that we have to talk about. We have to talk about Bran's role in all of this. Because it is so important. We are just learning how Bran can not only just go back and like see everything and experience everything, how he can change things. And the Three-Eyed Raven, who I think is just has always been Bran, just sort of like this loop, this weird time loop of where he's Bran, and
I don't know if I buy that.
Says that the past is written in ink. You can't change it. If that's true, Bran has always been there, changing the way things are. You know what I mean? So like it's this time loop, and yes,
maybe.
A lot of people are saying that Bran, because we see him say, "Father," and Ned turns around when he's at the castle in Dorne or whatever.
Yeah.
Where sister is. He turns around. So we know that Bran can talk to people.
Maybe.
People are saying that the Mad King went mad because Bran goes back to try to convince him, to do things differently or whatever, because they say the Mad King was hearing voices.
Yeah.
And was saying, burn them all. And that is something that Bran may have been saying, in terms of the White Walkers.
Because burn them all, yeah.
Because he's saying, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door. So he may be saying, burn them all, burn them all, burn them all. And, somehow that would get into the Mad King's head. That just makes so much sense to me.
That part I get, and the fact that he's Bran the Builder, like that's him.
Right.
But then if that's him who's buried down there, like his bones are down there.
Is it?
Well, I mean, they said they were.
But remember, he can sort of do a weird mind thing too, where he becomes. Time travel is very. Time travel is a really tricky thing to deal with because you can deal with multiple.
It really is. But I think the real question is he the Night King, and I don't think he is.
A lot of people are comparing their costumes. And they're like very, very similar costumes where it's just kind of like this black vest with the shoulders, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but then he interacted with himself, and then like
it's possible. Have you not seen a time travel movie?
No, I know it's possible, but I just don't. I don't buy the fact that he's gone crazy because he's been around for so long. Like he wants to kill everybody.
Oh, I don't think he actually is. I think when the Children of the Forest made him into the White Walker, he sort of lost who he was. Remember when we were talking in season 4 or 5, where Mira and Jojen are telling Bran, don't warg for too long. You'll lose yourself. You'll forget all of us, which is sort of felt very foreshadowy. And then the third eye blind.
That's a bad.
The three-eyed raven is also you can't stay too long in the past or you lose yourself. I feel like they're setting up this whole idea that Bran can completely get lost in another body. We don't know who, but I do feel like they're setting that up as a possibility. That can happen. So he could try to warg into the Night King and somehow they're able to coexist. I don't know how they would explain. I feel like it's a lot to do in just one season. It's a lot to set up. But I do feel that they were setting up this whole don't stay too long.
I mean, it's possible he can warg into somebody and lose himself in someone else. The Night King, I just don't see it. I can't buy that one.
Yeah, I was really, when I first read the theory, I was like, oh my god, it makes so much sense. But now the more I think about it, the more I feel I just don't know.
I don't know.
Because that would be a lot to do.
Yeah,
in 6 episodes.
Because
even though they're long, that's a lot to explain.
Because you have to literally see him.
It's a whole time travel thing.
That's a good 20 minutes of explaining.
But I do think that he's the reason the Mad King went mad. Because that would just be so poetic.
I'll buy that.
Right?
And we can actually see him I'll agree with you on that, but I don't think...
So someone's saying burn them all. It could be Jon, maybe. They're all fighting together, and Jon is yelling, burn them all, and then somehow Bran happens to be in the past, and the Mad King hears it, and that's just how this whole thing kind of starts. That'd be crazy.
That I buy into. Or even that he wore into Bran the Builder, and it was build the wall, because we didn't... I'll buy that one, too.
It's possible that he's warged into,
but I won't...
somehow been present.
Night King, no, I don't buy that.
I don't know. Well, the Night King is a big mystery, because we still don't... We know his origin.
Yeah, but I think we will learn more about him.
But we're not fully sure what he wants outside of everyone to be dead.
But I think
Which is why the Lord of Light theory, I think, makes the most sense at this point.
Well, regardless if he's the Lord of Light or not, I think we are going to learn a little bit more about him. Mm-hmm. But because he's who he is, and the reason why he was made, which in fact is kind of funny, to protect the children from man, and now he wants to kill men. It's kind of funny, and he was a man. That's funny.
Oops.
So, but I think we'll see a little bit more of not only him, of his kingdom too, because we only got little glimpses of it. So I would like to get a little bit more of, not flashback, because again they don't like doing that, but just maybe through Bran, maybe go back and see more of what happened to him, why he's the way he is now.
Yeah.
So maybe he betrayed the children betrayed him, I don't know. But I think we're going to get a sense of that through Bran, because that's the only way they're going to do a flashback is through him. Right,
well it's interesting because now they're connected. Because
he saw him and he touched him.
Yeah, so what's that all about?
Well, I know.
That's a mystery too, which is why I think the whole Bran is the Night King thing has a little validity, because what was that all about? I don't know. It's some crazy stuff.
But
did we talk about everything?
Well, I do like this is whatever, but in the opening when we because I love the opening of Game of Thrones. Are we gonna see the wall get destroyed a little? Like like there's a hole in it or something like that.
That'd be cute.
I think that would be. I think that'd be nice. I don't know. I think that's gonna happen. But other than that, I don't think there's anything.
Okay, actually there is. So I want to talk about how do you think it's gonna end? I know it's a very broad question, but like, if you could paint a small picture, what would that picture be? Like, how is it gonna end for everything, for everyone?
I think everybody dying that's just too simple. I just think, in a sense, nobody will win. In the sense where I think enough damage has been done to Westeros that the fact that none of our heroes wants to sit on that throne after it's over. Like,
it doesn't look very comfortable. So.
No, well, no, but I think like this might be a cop out, but I just don't think the whole game they've been playing, no one really wins. No one is sitting on that throne at the end.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I'll go a little further. I do think probably 3/4 of our characters are gonna die. Like most everyone's gonna die. My theory was that the only people who are really gonna make it out are gonna be Sam, Gilly, and the baby, because it's kind of like, you know, they're downtrodden. They don't really have. They're not like a big family name. Like, it would be kind of like it's like a reset almost, and it sort of ends with the baby, like this young person, this young child. I want to mention one more thing that's really interesting that Maisie Williams, who plays Arya, gave in an interview about season 8. She said as soon as she got the script for season 8, the first thing that she wanted to do was go back and look at season 1. Because apparently it parallels.
Well, I'm sure it does.
So if that's the way we want to look at it, there's probably a lot of clues in there as well.
I mean, not going to change my stance, but I think it might end with just the children alive. Because the show's been kind of going about the children. That's why I felt the
baby was a good, like, bittersweet.
But like the children, like our parents set this world up the way it was, and we're gonna leave it better.
All the parents are dead already.
Yeah, but I just think I mean, there's to your point, like Sam and Gilly's baby,
right?
Little Sam their parents are alive, so.
Well, right.
But
I think that's the only real child right now that's actually born.
I don't know, but I just like the fact that this whole game everybody's been playing has been, and then nobody wins. I just find that poetic in a sense. So actually, no, I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I don't think, at least that yes, people are gonna die, but I don't think anyone's gonna end up on the throne. I don't think anybody. We didn't talk about Reek. What's gonna happen to him? He's gonna
die valiantly.
Yeah, I think so. You think he's gonna kill his uncle? I think so.
That might be his redeeming thing that he does. Yeah, that would make sense. Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna happen.
Or just do something really like noble and brave. He's finally gonna get over all of the PTSD and the fact that his wiener's gone. And I think that's a viable way for him to go. There's gonna be some arcs that they're gonna have to wrap up, or I'm gonna scream.
Well, they don't have to wrap up everything.
I said some.
Yeah, some.
There's going to be some arcs that they're going to have to wrap up that we've been waiting for. There's going to be some characters, like Daenerys, who might just go in the first episode. You know?
No.
Or Jon.
No.
They brought him back just to have him...
No. No.
Or Cersei, or Jaime. Like, someone's going to die in the first episode. Who do you think it's going to be?
But it doesn't have to be one of the people we like the most. It could be something... I don't think anyone has to die in the first episode.
I think someone's going to die in the first episode.
No, I don't think so.
Second episode, then.
I mean, well, I already said Bran's going to die.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I think...
It's looking bleak for me, guys.
I think Pod might die, too.
Pod, no. Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know.
I think a lot of the side characters are going to go, because that affects... our major characters, so I think a lot of side characters.
Like you were saying, though, I think like a lot of the main characters are going to go because then it sort of leaves the downtrodden and the
along the way. Yeah. I mean, like
they could do anything. Think of season 1 when they killed Ned. It's like,
well, because there's no book. There's no book at this point to be like, oh well, I already know what's gonna happen. There's no book yet, so they literally can. The producers and George can be like, well, yeah, I think it's Cersei being turned into a white, so
could be a few things.
A White Walker. So I think that's because imagine, like I said, imagine that to be the end of 5.
Yeah.
Like you lose your mind. Just like you lost your mind with Hodor and you lost your mind with Shireen being burnt to a stake. Like, I can't see of any other, well, no, I can't see of any, that would be a major thing that from the beginning of the story, you wouldn't think she would, like, give up her power that she's been trying to get so much. So, I think that's a possibility that she could be turned. I wouldn't have thought that when we first sat down to do this, but as talking, it just happens to be that way. But, alright guys, so I think that's about everything that we are predicting. So what do you guys think? So we answered all of our predictions. What do you guys think? You can comment below.
Please, do that.
If you have any other fan theories that we didn't mention, you can bring those up and we'll comment back to see what we think. But we're curious to see where this goes along. So we are going to do episode recaps of all the episodes of Season 8. So maybe some of our answers... Well, obviously all of our questions will be answered along the way. So we'll remind you along the way if we were right or wrong. Which I think I'm right about some things. I think you're right about other things. Maybe we're both wrong. Maybe we're both right. We'll come to find out. But so you can look forward to those when they come out. And I think we'll also do a Game of Thrones recap of tying up everything once the season is ended. What do we think? Where does the show go from here with the prequel show? Are we going to get information about that? Things of that nature. We can look forward to that after all the episodes are done. But until then, I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
Bye guys. Winter's coming.
It's here.
It's here. It's almost here.
So close.
Almost here.